Are you looking for an incredible beans stew recipe that is going to turn out amazing and full of flavor? Try out this easy beans recipe, which you're going to absolutely love because it turns out amazing. As you can see, I love how the beans have turned out. The texture, the color, it's just amazing, and it is just going to be totally worth it when you try out the recipe. To make this beans recipe, you'll need a kg of beans, and for this recipe, I'm going to be using purple speckled kidney beans, popularly known as nyayo beans, and I'm going to start off by sorting my beans. So I'm going to transfer to my countertop, and then I'm going to sort out the rotten beans and any stones that I come across. So it's going to take around 1 minute to 2 minutes to sort out my beans. I'll place aside all the rotten beans. Once your beans are sorted out, you're going to transfer back to your bowl. And over here, I have about 1/4 cup of the rotten beans and some stones, which I've sorted out from my beans. Now that my beans are clean, I'm going to be washing for around 2 to 3 times until the water runs clear. So I'm going to add in some water to my bowl and wash my beans. Now that I'm done washing my beans, I'm going to transfer into my pressure cooker. So I'm going to transfer in carefully place in your lid on your pressure cooker and apply pressure on the lid of your pressure cooker by pressing down, and then you're going to lock your pressure cooker so that the air doesn't escape. Then you're going to be pressure cooking your beans for around 10 to 15 whistles. Once your beans are ready, you're going to put out the flame, and then you're going to manually remove the pressure from the cooker so that you can open the lid. Make sure all the pressure is from the pressure cooker, and then next you're going to carefully open your pressure cooker just like that. You see how easy it is. So I'm going to check on my beans, and they are cooked just perfectly. So the next step is to cook my beans. So I'm going to pick another pan and place over medium high flame. Add in 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, and quickly I'm going to dice my onions. And transfer to my pan. So you're going to saute your onions for around 1 minute until they have a very nice golden brown color. And my eyes are tearing up. So the next step is to add in some ginger. Add in my ginger. By browning your onions, you're going to add in so much flavor, and also whenever I cook beans, I love adding in ginger because it has a very nice taste when it comes to beans recipes. So you're going to cook your ginger and onions until they have a very nice golden brown color. Meanwhile, I'm going to be chopping up 3 tomatoes. So I'm going to cut into strips and then dice. Back to my onions, and this is how the onions are looking like. As you can see, they are browning, and the ginger is very fragrant. Next, I'm going to add in my tomatoes. And for my spices, I'm going to be adding in some garlic powder, paprika, cumin powder, and 2 beef seasoning cubes. Crush the seasoning cubes and add in my spices. Stir in the spices into the tomatoes, and for this recipe I'm using very mild spices like paprika and garlic powder. So cumin is going to add in a very nice mild taste flavor, that is flavor to our beans, and the beef seasoning cubes are going to add in a very nice flavor to our beans as well. I'm going to add in a splash of water so that my tomatoes can cook through for about 1 to 2 minutes over medium-low flame. You can switch the beef seasoning cubes with salt if you don't have any beef seasoning cubes, and the bean stew will also be very delicious. Check on my tomatoes, and as they're cooking, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of tomato paste. Stir in the tomato paste. You can see the tomatoes are yet to cook, so I'm going to wait for the tomatoes to cook down. This is how my tomatoes are looking after cooking for 2 minutes, and as you can see, they are mushy and well cooked. So the next step is to add in beans. So I'm going to add in around 3 cups of my parboiled beans. That is around 3 cups. And then I'm going to stir in together with the tomato sauce, which is very flavorful and delicious, coating the beans with the delicious sauce. Some of you usually ask me how I get a thick soup when it comes to beans. So I usually mash around 1 cup of the bean using my spatula, just like this. This is going to thicken the soup as soon as you add in your water. So the secret is mashing some of the beans. That is about a cup. So the next step is to add in 1.5 cups of water, just like that. Stir in the water. And then I'm going to be boiling the beans for around 3 to 4 minutes until the water has reduced and is thick and looking very delicious. Also, at this point, you're going to check in the seasoning. If it's not perfect, you're going to be adding in some more salt. This bean recipe is totally worth trying because, as you have seen, it has very minimal ingredients and the outcome is some delicious bean stew. My water is coming to a boil, so I'm going to check the seasoning. My salt is perfect, so I'm going to wait for the water to reduce so that it can thicken up and the beans are going to turn out. Balance out the acidity of the tomatoes, I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. Stir in the sugar, and you can tell the soup is thickening up after around 2 minutes. Look at this. This is after 4 minutes of cooking my beans, and as you can see, the soup has thickened out and it's looking very nice and delicious. So the next step is to garnish with some coriander. I'm going to garnish to add in some color and also flavor. Put out the flames. Stir in the coriander. And wow, this looks so good and delicious. And I'm going to be serving mine over some rice, and it's going to be just mouth-watering. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll be trying out this easy beans recipe that is going to turn out delicious and perfect for your guests or for your family.